Everything's going on. It happens this time of year. Everybody, welcome to the Small Business and Information Technology meeting, meeting number 3. On our agenda, we have one bill we're going to hear real fast. Well, not real fast. We're going to hear at this point in time. Would everyone, when you announce yourself, please let us know if you are in your annex office or if you're at home. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Baker.
In person.
Representative Beckler. Representative Bojanowski.
Here in person.
Sorry about that. Representative Branscombe.
Here in person.
Representative Brown. Representative Callaway.
Present in person.
Representative Dotson.
Here in person.
Representative Pfister.
Here in person.
Representative Gooch. Representative Heath.
Here in person.
Representative Koenig. Representative Lawrence.
Here in person.
Representative Miller. Representative Raymond. Representative Roberts.
Present in the room.
Representative
here in the annex.
Representative Rowland. Representative Sheldon. Representative Tate. Representative White. Representative Freeland. And Chairman Pratt.
Here. And Mr. Beckler's rolled in.
Who is that?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we'll proceed. If you introduce yourself for the record, and please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee members. Josh Branscombe, State Representative, District 83.
Thank you, State Representative Nima Kulkarni, District 40.
Once again, appreciate the opportunity to be here today to speak with you on House Bill 468. Happy to be joined here by Representative Kulkarni, and I appreciate her work on this bill as well and her commitment to serving the Commonwealth. Well, we thank you for the opportunity to be here. Over 1.3 million Kentuckians have filed unemployment claims during the pandemic. And through no fault of their own, these hardworking men and women lost their paycheck, health benefits.
Motion on the bill.
A second.
You may proceed to speak if you wish, but I would encourage you not. But it's up to you, sir.
Who made the motion?
Who made the motion?
Baker.
There you go.
And second was
Just put Dotson or
Dotson.
Lawrence.
All right. Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Baker.
Yes.
Representative Beckler.
Aye.
Representative Bojanowski.
You've got it. Yes.
Representative Branscombe.
Yes.
Representative Brown. Representative Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Dotson.
Yes.
Representative Pfister.
Yes.
Representative Freeland. Representative Gooch. Representative Heath.
Yes.
Representative Koenig. Representative Lawrence.
Yes.
Representative Miller. Representative Raymond.
Yes.
Representative Roberts.
Yes, and I thank the sponsors for bringing this.
Representative Rowland. Representative Sheldon.
Muted, or when it starts, will I hear him?
Representative Tate. Representative White. And Chairman Pratt.
Yes. I want to thank you guys for bringing such a great bipartisan bill, Kulkarni and Mr. Branscombe. It has passed for favorable expression. Expect to do so in the House. Thank you very much. Well, our next guest, please approach. And we have members going to be leaving, not that they're mad at us, but they have other commitments in other committees that they've got to also get going. So I realize I've got a busy schedule as we get into this. Please address approach the podium there. Introduce yourself for the record, and I also would like to recognize some of the guests we have also.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Travis Burton with the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce.
Kaylin Query, Lexington Event Company, Small Business Council for the State Chamber.
Andre Daniels, HGI Supply Chain Solutions.
You need to pull your microphones closer.
Is your mic on?
Green light on?
Yep.
No, this one is not. Green light's not on in the middle.
Push the button in the middle, right there. There you go. Thank you.
Condre Daniels, HGI Supply Chain Solutions, Executive Committee of the Kentucky Chamber.
Sarah DeVasher Wisdom, President and CEO of Greater Louisville, Inc., the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, guys. Also have on the call with today Sarah Wilson from Paducah. If you guys just wave. Katie Jacobs from Prospect. Bradley Stevenson from Lexington. Marisa Neal from Louisville. Kelly Workman from Hopkinsville. Lee Scott from Louisville. Kristen David from Campbellsville. Crystal Rourke, sorry about that, from Flemingsburg. Elizabeth Wimsett, I'm probably slaughtered that, sorry about that, from Bardstown. Susan Coblin from Frankfurt, and Deanna Herman from London. Glad to have you guys here today. If I remind you, if you're not speaking, please keep on mute. If not, at this point in time, please proceed.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Chairman, for allowing us to be here and for the members for entertaining us today. We know that small businesses are the backbone of Kentucky's economy, but they're also the backbone of the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. Small businesses with less than 100 employees make up 2/3 of our members and our membership on policy councils. Those policy councils are where our agenda is formed and developed. Small businesses' involvement in our policy councils ensure that our advocacy and our agenda properly reflect and prioritizes the needs of small businesses across Kentucky. Today, we have with us Sarah DeVasher Wisdom of GLI, Kaylin Query, who is our Small Business Council Chair, and Conrad Daniels, who serves as the Small Business Representative on our Executive Committee. We appreciate their leadership in gathering input from small businesses and amplifying the policy needs of those small businesses, which we are here to discuss today. To start us off, I just wanted to highlight the importance that the Kentucky Chamber agenda places on strengthening our workforce. Effective workforce training programs are critical, but too many employers continue to struggle in their efforts to find people with the right skills for the jobs they have available. We are pleased to see several pieces of legislation on the move this session, including House Bill 25 that removes the requirement that an eligible high school student or an eligible student not be convicted of a felony for KEYS eligibility. This prevents one mistake from essentially keeping students out of the workforce. We applaud the other bills that allow more flexibility with the KEYS scholarship. Transparency and ongoing conversation between education and business are important to ensure we are utilizing our resources effectively and efficiently. The educational attainment of older workers, those between 25 and 64, continues to be present a significant challenge for Kentucky. The Chamber supports initiatives designed to meet these challenges, such as the Kentucky Adult Education System's effort to increase the number of people earning a GED. We also support House Bill 253, which is the FAFSA requirement bill that would help more students know what financial resources they have available to get them a degree or certificate, as we must continue to upskill our workforce in order to keep Kentucky competitive, especially as we recover from COVID-19.
I'm going to break it. Thank you all for having us, and thank you to the Chamber for setting this up and for advocating on our behalf for supporting economic recovery for small businesses. As mentioned before, my name is Kaylin Query. I own Lexington Event Company, which is an event planning and management firm. We're based in Lexington, and I own Lex Effect Venues, which is a venue management company. So I'm sure you can imagine we've been shut down for a while. To give you a little background, between the two companies, we shut down March 17th, and we are just now starting to reopen with regulations and guidelines. We are down collectively between the two a little over $400,000 for 2020 compared to the previous year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for small business, that's a significant amount. Bills like Senate Bill 67 that continue allow alcohol to being purchased for to-go delivery and in conjunction with a meal is proven to provide much needed support for the hospitality industry. Not just bars and restaurants, but catering companies, venues, and other hospitality and tourism related organizations have been hit like everybody else, but we are still somewhat closed. We can open currently with between 30% and 50% capacity with a lot of other guidelines that changes the nature of any kind of event, and we want to do so safely, but we also want to make sure that we survive. We continue to face challenges as small businesses, and we're not out of the crisis yet. While we've benefited from federal programs intended to get us through this difficult year, state policy can help us continue to recover economically and manage support that's no longer in place. This past year's brought challenges unlike anything we've ever seen, and again, it impacts small businesses more so than anything else. Our exposure to liability claims is constantly on my mind as a small business owner. We can do everything right. That doesn't mean that we're not going to potentially get sued. And that's, of course, on top of a significant loss that we're already facing and potential added expense in legal costs and other service fees. Protecting small business from frivolous lawsuits before the end of the session is critical. Small businesses, along with schools and healthcare heroes, deserve the protection from those lawsuits related to COVID-19 that could force even more businesses to close their doors. Advertising for these lawsuits has already started throughout the nation, and so we're asking for the passage of Senate Bill 5, which has meaningful protections to provide the certainty we need to get back to business. Tax liability is also on our mind. We need tax code that's competitive, and we appreciate steps taken in the past years and encourage you to continue this work. One bill that we want to thank you for is House Bill 278, which conforms Kentucky tax law, allowing deductions for proceeds related to forgiven loans, such as the PPP. I personally did receive both the first and second draft of PPP, which was critical to keeping my employees afloat. As I said, we were completely shut down, and unlike other companies with a product that they can still sell, I'm a service-based business, so without physically doing the event, there's not a lot of revenue I can bring in, which kept my 10 employees between full-time and part-time still employed so that they didn't have to sit at home wondering how they were going to pay their bills. Takes millions out of the hands of small business leaders that could otherwise expand their workforce, so we thank you for that. Another tax that is challenging is the unemployment insurance tax. Employers face a huge liability of over $1 billion to pay off our federal unemployment loan and replenish the trust fund to pre-pandemic levels. We face a significant tax increase this year because of that, and getting relief for the tax fund, as you know, to help pay that off and replenish the fund is critical. I know that this passed yesterday as well, so thank you for that. We want to reiterate why that is so important. Tens of thousands of dollars being paid by small business owners to refund and help replenish the loan, especially when folks were able to deduct and take from the loan who have not contributed and never will contribute, sole proprietors and others. It's a lot of burden on small businesses when we're already significantly down from a pandemic year and have a long way to go to get back to pre-pandemic a place. We'd like to thank you for the work you've done to tackle substance abuse disorders. The Chamber is concerned about the state's rising drug abuse problem and its negative effect on the Kentucky workforce. We talked about this last year as well, and the including healthcare costs. We support efforts to remove those barriers for employers and people in recovery from addiction. Employment is the key to their success and to ours. So we thank you for the passing of the Recovery Ready Communities, House Bill 7, and hope to see it pass in the Senate. Thank you for your time today.
Good morning, Chairman Pratt and members of the committee, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Conrad Daniels, President of HJI Supply Chain Solutions. We are a proud second-generation family-owned, women-owned, minority-owned, third-party logistics company with 6 locations across Kentucky and Tennessee, and we are headquartered in Louisville, Kentucky. During the pandemic, 2 of our 3 Kentucky locations were shut down, and both facilities supported automotive plants, and we had to lay off over 150 team members for 2.5 months. Fortunately for our industry, the suffering didn't last long, and we were grateful for that. Our e-commerce and fulfillment division ramped up, and we were able to secure a sizable contract with Humana. We prepared one of our facilities and enhanced our technology platform to onboard thousands of Humana partners, ordering PPE through our order portal system. So over the course of the pandemic, HJI stocked approximately 8 million PPE devices and equipment and managed over 3,000 shipments and distributed nearly 4 million units to Humana facilities and associates. That was not the outcome for most industries. I share that story to say, but not for a local company being intentional and giving us, an MBE, an opportunity, our story would have been written differently. Equal opportunity and equal access have been missing from this state. Until most recently, getting wins in my own backyard was an afterthought. The majority of our business is from out of state. We have been in business for 26 years, and if I had to rely on our city, our state for opportunities, we wouldn't be around. And we are one of the largest scalable minority business enterprises in our state. So it begs to ask the question, what about all those other minority business enterprises? How are they surviving? The answer is many are not. I was granted the opportunity to work with other wonderful advocates, helping the Kentucky Chamber on our most recent report, Achieving Equity to Build a Stronger Kentucky. The Chamber report highlighted changes needed to address inequality in our education and our criminal justice systems, and to bring equity to economic opportunities. Thank you, Kentucky Chamber, for addressing the existing and current racial inequalities in our state of Kentucky. However, the report are just words. It's now time for action. We as Kentuckians can't fix what we can't confront. I hope the racial inequality report triggers action through commitment and investment in education gaps, criminal justice reform, and economic empowerment for Black Kentuckians. I'm an engineer, and I had a professor that would say, math has no opinion. If you haven't yet read that report, it's on the Chamber's website. Math has no opinion, and those numbers, statistics are staggering if you look like me. And there's a feeling of anger, disappointment, and disenfranchisement. Why in 2021 do I feel the same way 2 to 3 generations before me felt? Where is the progress? I'm 43 years young. Our generation, this state can change this trajectory. Transformational equity, and it starts now. What active policies can we take? We have some suggestions in the Achieving Equity to Build a Stronger Kentucky report. Let's unearth and root out these policies that continue to justify the inequality and inequities we currently realize in our state. The Chamber supports diversity policies that enact equal opportunity and equal access. Policy changes are important to narrow racial wealth gaps and increase equity in Kentucky. Improvement in support of minority business enterprises is important to attract business to Kentucky and talent to Kentucky. I know the legislator is tackling this issue in different ways. We support legislation to form a committee to deal with the challenges we face. We hope that you will use these recommendations of our report to guide your policy work in this space and view the business community, us, as a resource. Other priorities small business value include investment in our infrastructure. Kentucky must realize our global competitors are building infrastructure at an impressive rate. To take full advantage of Kentucky's favorable geographic location, we are within 600 miles of 65% of the nation's population, and improve the ability of Kentucky companies to compete. We must place a greater emphasis on building and maintaining our state's transportation infrastructure. And think about equity. When it comes to the hundreds of millions of actual spend in our state infrastructure, we want to be able to be proud of how inclusive that spend will be. Be accountable and be transparent and ensure there is equal access and equal opportunity for all. Create bold goals around supporting MBEs in the infrastructure spend. Be transparent, be accountable, and you'll gain a lot of trust. The pandemic has especially highlighted the need to further investment in broadband, and we know you care about this issue. Improving our broadband infrastructure and access is critical for education and business development. Finally, I would ask that you please keep pursuing policies that support Kentucky's signature industries, such as distilling, equine, and tourism. So many small businesses support our signature industries and benefit from their growth. Chairman Pratt, and members of the committee, on behalf of the small businesses and the minority business community, thank you for gifting us your time.
Thank you, Chairman Pratt and members of the committee, for hosting us today. We appreciate the opportunity to be here to advocate on behalf of small businesses. I am Sarah DeVasher Wisdom, and I am President and CEO of the Metro Chamber of Commerce in Louisville. I work with my colleagues, Bob Quick at Commerce Lexington and Brent Cooper at Northern Kentucky, to advocate for small businesses in the Louisville region. Small businesses represent a major part of our membership, and they help us craft our legislative agenda. This year, small businesses were outsizedly impacted by the pandemic and had several priorities that we keep emphasizing over and over again. Some of them have already been mentioned, but I'm going to hit on them again. A big threat faced by small businesses is the rising unemployment insurance tax. We appreciate the steps that were made as part of House Bill 1, but we believe that more action is needed. Senator David Givens has filed Senate Bill 7, which addresses issues related to UI benefits that were provided by the state in error. Representative Russell Weber has filed House Bill 413, which passed the House yesterday, which makes system improvements. However, the thing that will help the UI system the most is restoring the funding and putting as much funding in the system as possible. We believe this is an incredibly difficult time for small businesses, and it will take additional funding paired with the bills that I just mentioned to really help small businesses. I also want to mention the importance of allowing paycheck protection loans, expenses paid, to be forgiven. This is very important, and it's, again, another outsized impact to small businesses because most of the loans were forgiven, and in Louisville we had about 30% of the ones statewide. So this is why it's such an important issue for our members. We applaud the House for passing this bill yesterday almost unanimously, and we look forward to passage by the Senate soon. I also want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the importance of Kentucky Small Business Development Center. The Kentucky Small Business Development Centers have locations statewide, and we have one in our Louisville office in downtown Louisville. These centers have been incredibly impactful in helping small businesses get information on the PPP loans, on relief and guidance from the state. So we are urging for full funding for these centers. These centers are funded by a combination of federal and state dollars. And again, we support full funding in the state budget. In addition to these priorities, I want to briefly mention that we encourage lawmakers to continue pursuing legislation that is beneficial and full funding for workforce development and education, as well as reforms to the criminal justice system that will allow for more effective reentry. We are also highly supportive of infrastructure reform and tax reform. So on behalf of Greater Louisville businesses, thank you again for the time to speak to you today, and we look forward to any questions you may have.
Thank you all for your testimony. Do you have any questions? Representative Bojanowski, I think I got it right.
Yes.
Hey.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. As a teacher, phonetically, it's just like it's written. So if you just sound it out. So I'm Tina Bojanowski. I'm from Louisville. We had a small business in my family from the time I was a senior in high school until just a few years ago. So I'm very passionate about the needs of small business owners. Could somebody say, just help me get an idea on the potential increase in the unemployment tax contributions? What kind of a dollar amount would you be looking for in your business if something isn't changed?
So a dollar amount that...
Like the additional. How much more would you anticipate having to pay into it?
If I understand correctly, the proposal right now is potentially $100 per employee per year. So if you think about, I'm on the small end of small business. I have, in a busy year, 20 people in our busy season. But if you look at, companies with 100 people, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars that they would have to pay per year to replenish that fund. Again, a fund that was depleted by people who don't pay in and will never pay in. And we understand everyone needed to be helped, and we're not arguing with that. But That's a lot when we're already down and having to pay more for so many other things while struggling. So, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you as to what dollar amount. Zero. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
some help, and even if that's a delay, which I think is what it says now, delaying that payment allows us to get back to, somewhat of a pre-pandemic state before that added expense is expected of us.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of have an idea of what numbers you were looking at. Thank you
if
very
you
much.
can just have us not pay anything, that'd be great. But that's probably not an option. So delaying it allows us to, again, just get back to where we can afford that plus our employees, because eventually we're going to have to start choosing between employees and paying that tax. I mean, there are some businesses that will not hire
Right.
or not bring them back to avoid that potential expense.
Additional tax.
And for us, I mean, we have close to 400 employees. So with that 2.5 month gap with manufacturing closing down, on top of that, it's less investment we can put into our people,
Right.
into leasing new facility for new business.
Right.
So, growth is important. It's going to negatively impact that.
Thank you.
Next, I think we have Representative Callaway.
Thank you all for coming and presenting today. As a new legislator, it's always great to get information, and we've got a lot of it in the last month or so. So I appreciate it, and a lot of the bills that we're passing and working on right now have been near and dear to a lot of people in this committee's heart, and working with you all. So we appreciate that. I just wanted to say this, that I know a lot of times that y'all get to come and ask us for specific focuses. I appreciate you all's focus that y'all do on reentry for people that either have substance abuse problems or felony issues, things of that nature. In my other life, I get the privilege to run a transitional living home. And so literally almost every day of my life is spent trying to find somebody with a record, a job. And I would encourage you all to continue to encourage your organizations. I know that there's caution and carefulness and, different types of industries out there that have certain thresholds they have to meet, whether it be a federal requirement or whatever. But being able to help these people get back into jobs is vital to keeping them from going back into the system from a recidivism rate standpoint, things of that nature. And so we appreciate the work that you are doing on that, but the more that you can continue to support the industries and the businesses in your organizations to support that, it is a great help to our society. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Representative Tate.
Good morning, and I certainly appreciate you all being here in your testimony. Ms. Sarah, if you could do me a favor and just elaborate on infrastructure reform, I would appreciate it.
We are saying that we want more funding for infrastructure. We believe it's very important to invest in ourselves. And when we talk to companies that are seeking potential location in Louisville, infrastructure sometimes comes up. And when we want to be competitive as a community, we know that we show up on more lists if we have strong infrastructure. Infrastructure is all modes. It includes transit, it includes roads, it includes airways, all 5 modes. Yep, waterways, everything.
Right. If I may ask a follow-up, please. Yes, sir. And I'm just assuming, too, that also, we've had a lot of conversation about internet capabilities as well. One of my, I'm a strong advocate for, I've constantly say, and you might have heard me say, that if we can outsource to India as corporations, we can outsource to rural Kentucky. And so that's one of the things that I would like to do is to work with corporations to figure out how we can make that capability of moving some of those jobs to rural Kentucky, and I'm assuming that is one of the things that you're talking about as well. Just wanted to verify that.
I'm not quite sure I understand.
Internet capabilities and capabilities to communicate outside of the Louisville area.
Absolutely. We know that broadband is very important, and we talk with our internet service providers on a very frequent basis about how we can increase that for people, and they're very collaborative with us. So we understand the importance of broadband and how it's going to really be the way of the future. I think the pandemic has reinforced that for us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Representative Sheldon.
I would just like to say thank you to you guys for being here today. Small business and business all across this state is indebted to you folks that have started your own business. You've used the creativity, the intuitiveness that you use to get in business through this pandemic, and it's been unbelievable. And our chambers have done a great job, all the way back to my local chamber in Warren County, and I've got some close ties to the state chamber as well. And you guys have just done a great job, and I'm very, very thankful for you all being here today. Thankful for our small businesses, and we're here to support you. I promise you that.
Thank you. See no more questions. Thank you all for your great testimony. Mr. Representative Vojanowski, I may be able to answer your question a little bit. I have 38 employees, and we were lucky during all this pandemic. We did not lay anyone off, but we went from one of the lowest to the highest unemployment rate. And let me help qualify this. That is, now quick math, so I may be a little bit off, but we figured it's 18,000 unbudgeted dollars on 38 employees. I can't imagine what's going to do with you for 400 or even more, or even much larger companies. So if a small company like myself is $18,000 extra unbudgeted, I can't imagine if we don't do something with that rate, what it will do to small businesses across the state of Kentucky. So with that, but I do appreciate you all's testimony today. Again, I think most of the people on this committee requested to be on this committee. Small business is near and dear to our heart. And again, also one of the stats I was looking at much earlier in the year was 86% of all the jobs created in the state of Kentucky are by small businesses. So we are the economic driver in the state. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we adjourn, we have some people who did not get to vote on our first bill. If it's point time, Mr. Freelander, would you like to record a vote? On House Bill 468, sorry about that, yes. All right. Also, I did not hear from Miller or Brown.
Representative Miller votes yes.
Representative Brown?
Representative Brown, I'll pass on the bill. I didn't get any information. I missed the presentation.
Nope, no problem, sir.
All right.
Well, if that's point time, with no more business, we are adjourned. Thank you guys very much. I need to sign some things. Let me get my...
Very well tonight. Take a nap. My office doesn't have room for us up